we know the sound of our world before we're even born. I did realize from a very young age that music felt important and very, very attractive. Hi, I'm Susan Rogers. I am a PhD in behavioral neuroscience, and I teach for Berklee College of Music online. I started my career as an audio technician, repairing consoles and tape machines in Los Angeles. I knew I wanted to be where records were being made. I knew I wanted to contribute somehow to this thing that I loved so much, which was recorded music. I got hired in 1983 by Prince, my favorite artist. Prince moved me from the technician role into the engineering chair. From there, I engineered and mixed and then eventually produced records. I was with Prince for over 4 years. We recorded nearly every day because he recorded on tour and he recorded when he was making movies. He was on fire then. All the things we did together blew me away. He was truly a once-in-a-lifetime talent. We're at the marvelous Electric Garden Studios in Brooklyn. I only wish that I could have been here when I was making records, because this place is fantastic. In the days before the digital audio workstation, we recorded to analog tape. In this piece of tape lies the smallest known permanent magnet called domains. There's a layer of them on this tape. When the sound of your vocal excites the input, those two magnets want to get to each other, but they can't because there's that air gap in the middle. So when a piece of tape with domains on it passes over the head, they've got to pass. The domains that are arranged there, feeling it. They're feeling the excitement of the positive and negative magnetic attraction plus that gap. And now the signal has a place to go, and it goes into the domains, and it aligns the domains head to tail in a pattern that corresponds to the pattern of your voice. What happens next is the tape moves from the record head over to the playback head. This process happens in reverse. And in the loudspeakers, we have the same principle. That's essentially the analog process from performing to capturing it on a piece of tape, to playing it back from the piece of tape, and to getting it to come out the loudspeakers, all using the same basic technology, which is the principle of electromagnetic induction. It's so funny to think of how much time we spend finding just the right texture, just the right timbre. When Prince first did When Doves Cry, it featured heavy timbres, and at some point he was smart enough to realize, well, this won't work, because the lyrical message is, this is what it sounds like when doves cry. He made the track basically percussive with lighter sounds, gentler sounds. He put more space in that record, and he muted the bass. That simple melody that he used on that song expressed the feeling that had no doubt initially inspired the record. So I'm here at Rough Trade Records in New York City, and it's the home of vinyl. It's really nice to go back to that analog day when you had to buy it, hold it in your hands, walk out of the store with it. So let's look at some records. Here's PJ Harvey, the great. Remember Meat Puppets? Here we are, soul and funk. There we go. Here's Prince. Here's the 1999 album. Prince drew this record cover. I admired him for being so into his album art. These were before me. I came along at Purple Rain, Controversy album. And this is his handwriting, which I recognize. Inside this record was a poster. I remember the first time I was in that house. It's one of the first rooms in that house I saw was that bathroom. And that poster of him in that bathroom with that guitar. I used to hang it up on the wall in the tech shop where I worked. But I love those records. How could you not? Near the end of my music career in the late 90s, I began exploring the questions of the natural world, and I began thinking, I think I would really enjoy being a scientist, and in particular, I was interested in consciousness. Music perception and cognition deals with how the brain processes, interacts with musical signals. It's everything from learning music to memorizing it, to performing it, to dancing to it. A lot like audio engineering. And just as I enjoyed being an audio technician and learning how signal flow works in a console, so do I also enjoy being a neuroscientist. We know that the fetus can hear in the final trimester of pregnancy. So by the time we're born, we've already been exposed to sound. The womb is a liquid environment and it conducts sound. From there, everything we hear influences us. Whatever music is going on in the home, in the car, on the radio station, on television, at school, anything you're exposed to is going to influence you, and it's going to shape the music lover that you become. Sound is the fastest of our 5 senses to process. When we hear sounds, we've evolved to rapidly process them to see if there's anything relevant in there. In other words, what is it to me? Music needs time in order to become what it is. One single pitch heard in isolation is utterly meaningless. We need a slow audio processor, which happens to be in the right hemisphere, to bear in mind the pitches that preceded the pitch that we're hearing right now. So we need memory and we need time in order to be evaluating how this melody is going. As we're listening to music, we're constantly forming expectations based on all the music we've ever heard in our lifetimes for where this melody is going to go. When we are processing music that we like, there's strong connectivity between auditory regions above our ears, motor regions near the top of our head, and the reward system down deep in the brain. When you're hearing music that you like, the activity on that dopaminergic pathway tells the auditory system, yeah, that's the good stuff. Give me more of that. I love that so much. Music therapy is a practice that uses music in a therapeutic setting to perform some kind of intervention. And it is effective because music listening is a whole brain workout. Of course, music as an emotion delivery device is effective at mediating our mood. And when we change our mood, it changes our endocrine system. Occasionally, a record will hit you so hard that makes you think, Jesus, I love this. When that happens, it's love at first listen. When I fall in love, I think like most of us, if you're in love, you're in love. You're going to love that record for life. First time I heard 29 Ways by Willie Dixon. Got 29 ways. I love a rumba. I love that groove. Instant love. What we know is that when we listen to music that we love, it activates the default network. It gets us to daydream and mind wander. Daydreaming and mind wandering are the initial first steps for creative thinking. When we go into that private place in our heads, especially as children and teens, our sense of self is forming. Every brain who works in the sciences is working toward what's true. Of course, considering the love of music, each one informs the other greatly. I left the music business in 2000. That was 25 years ago. I have always been proud of simply getting the job done. I'm proud of the equipment that I repaired, the studios that I installed, the engineering that I did faithfully and well, the mixing that turned out okay, the production that turned out okay. And it's nice listening to your own mix on the radio. It's great. Maybe you're out in a store or something, you hear a record that you did, you get a little feeling of pride. Like all music lovers, I'm deeply bonded to it as an art form. The records that I love with all my heart. Everything I knew about myself, I learned through music.